Welcome to the Cold Blooded Caffeine podcast. I'm Trey.
And I am McKendrick.
And we're going to try and do something a little bit different for this podcast. We're going to talk about something very much off topic. Not even just a little bit off topic, but very off topic. But something that McKendrick and I both care about a lot, and that is college football.
Oh, my
College
goodness.
football's back.
College football, NFL football, all the footballs are back. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, and even in some action in the midweek, you can get some action going on.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some college football, and we decided to talk about this week because there's a pretty significant event that happens usually the third or fourth week of every college football season, and it's one that kind of pits McKendrick and I against each other.
So when you say significant,
significant,
more significant to some than others. Oh, okay.
So why don't we go ahead and reveal where our allegiances lie, and you can start with yourself.
That said, for those that know me, I am not I'm a resident of South Carolina, but I am originally from Georgia. So that said, I have always pulled for. Hey, who's laughing? Who's laughing? Where am I? Who am I cheering for? Who do people want to hear about? UGA. So yes, I am a fan of Georgia Bulldogs, the two-time reigning champions, going for a three-peat this year. So I've always rooted for Georgia and Georgia teams. This is where I spent all of my college years. I didn't go to UGA. I actually went to Albany State University, so that is where my heart is. But UGA is definitely one of the fan favorites, and we are playing formidable opponent. This
formidable opponent.
Formidable opponent this weekend, and I'll let Trey talk about this great opponent that we'll be playing.
So I am a lifetime die-hard fan of the University of South Carolina Gamecocks. Yeah, that sums it up. That really does. I mean, for anyone that follows University of South Carolina athletics, it is a very hope-filled but also downtrodden group of people, because we always seem to find ourselves close to success, but just right out of reach.
Yeah.
And so it's been quite some time since South Carolina has been not relevant. We're always like messing with somebody, like a couple times a year we mess up somebody's season, but we messed up Clemson. Tennessee and Clemson last year. But we've never really reached those high altitudes, at least in the last 10 or so years. We haven't been really relevant in the terms of like playoff contention in football. So but with that being said, we thought that it would be fun, since this week is Georgia South Carolina, that we would place a little wager on the game, on the outcome of the game, with the caveat that we fully understand that taking South Carolina to win heads up, straight up, is,
I don't know if anyone would really take that
unrealistic, and I think it's not really fair to ask either one of us to bet against our team. So
that said, we're gonna look at the spread,
right?
Which right now is at what,
27.5. So
we're talking about 4 touchdowns.
So if South Carolina gets beat by less than 4 touchdowns, then I win.
Then you win.
And if Georgia wins by 4 touchdowns or more,
right,
then I win. So.
I think that's as fair as it can get right at this
27.5 points is that's a big spread.
Yeah,
like I'm fairly happy.
Touchdowns.
I'm fairly happy with that. Like I think. I mean,
I don't know.
I think it's a smidge insulting to South Carolina just to be, but I mean, also I kind of understand.
You're playing the number 1 ranked team in the nation, though.
Who has a new starting quarterback and has Mike Bobo at the helm of the offense? I mean, good gracious, I don't know.
I mean, it took him a little bit to get warmed up.
Right? I will say right now, if you look at the stats, that Spencer Rattler, the starting quarterback for South Carolina, has a better stat line than Carson Beck.
Carson Beck was really slow getting started.
And South Carolina's played North Carolina and Furman. North Carolina is a pretty good team. We lost, but Spencer Rattler played well. He won SEC Player of the Week last week when we played Furman. 25 of 27 passing, 345 yards in 3.5 quarters.
Look at Trey throwing them stats out.
Yeah. So,
hopefully we don't do that to y'all this week and we have Player of the Week.
I will say that head to head, I'm taking Spencer Rattler over Carson Beck right now. As a starting quarterback, I'm going to take now. Other aspect. We might have a better special teams too, but I don't know what y'all special teams got. But offensive line, defensive line, like linebackers,
okay,
defensive backs, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. So Georgia,
but
quarterbacks. I think we've got the edge. I think we got. It's not a landslide. I'm not saying that
but I also think he's going to get better. He's going to get more comfortable.
For sure. He's got upside.
Plenty of upside. So we'll see
he's
where
got
he
the intangibles. I mean, he's the starting quarterback at Georgia for a reason.
Right.
And he has the weapons away from
right.
That's the key that South Carolina. Well, we've got some playmakers on the outside, but we don't have the offensive line that we can hang with Georgia.
Yeah,
and that's really where it's going to come
down to. Pretty stout as well. Like
I will say that our offensive line, I did insult them right there, but they have improved greatly from week 1 to week 2, and we're now averaging 5 sacks a game.
Average over 2 games.
It just so happens that the first game we had 9 sacks, and the second game we had 1. So, but see, there's an exponential improvement on the offensive line. So at this rate, we're going to have negative 3 sacks in this upcoming game, right? I mean, so we're going to
let's just hope we don't get.
We're going to be sacking the defense.
9 is a lot. 9 is a lot. 9 to 1 to -4 and -5.
And the unfortunate thing is that was against a defense that just plain isn't that great. We made that defense look so much better than it actually is. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm a little bit worried that, yes, I said that Spencer Rattler is a better quarterback. I'm afraid that he's going to die. They're just going to have to cart him off.
Well, because that clearly shows if you give him enough time, he can work.
He can ball. Yeah, I mean,
he can work.
He can make any throw in the field. But if you kill him, if you decapitate him, then there's not a whole lot he can do. So
we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
The bet. So what are we betting?
All right, what's the wager? So
I've been doing quite a bit of these odd coffee tasting.
Oh yeah. Right? So if you've seen some of the other videos,
putting orange juice in coffee, mayonnaise in coffee.
How does the roaster react to some of these crazy,
existing things? So things that I found on the internet.
Right.
So we thought it would be fun that the winner gets to choose the next roaster reacts. So the loser would then have to be the
drink
consumer
of this whatever concoction is.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll give that some thought. I would love to hear from you as well, the fans.
Yeah.
So fans got any suggestions of not something too wild, crazy.
Right. We don't want to get somebody sick or anything like that.
But if you've seen something pretty unique, different, odd, that might end up being something that we can use as a part of this wager, then
throw it down in the comments.
Put it in the comments. Let us know. So I think that'll be good.
But, at the end of the day, college football's back. Yep. College football's back. Coffee weather's back. Getting a little nip in the air in the afternoons. Well, I say that. It was 95 degrees yesterday.
But it is supposed to be cooler by the time we get to the end of the week. So we'll see.
Good.
We'll see.
So I think that's really the main point of the podcast that we wanted to get out today is to you're going to get to see one of us drink something very nasty as a result of this.
I think 4 touchdowns.
27.5. Yeah. That's I'm happy with
light work. I think it's light work. I think it'll be 5 touchdowns. Easy.
Georgia did beat South Carolina by more than 4 touchdowns last year.
Season.
And they were at home. In the friendly confines of Williams-Brice Stadium.
So y'all didn't have that far to go home and wipe the tears away.
But did you see? So I'm going to do a little caveat here, or not a little sidetrack before we get back. We do have some announcements here at the end of some upcoming events. But I got a funny story about the last time that South Carolina beat Georgia was at Sanford Stadium, which is Georgia's home stadium. South Carolina went
2 years ago?
I think so, 2 years ago. South Carolina went in as an unranked team and beat highly ranked. I don't remember exactly what you guys were ranked at the time. Top 5 team, Georgia team.
Yeah.
And did you see that for like a couple of hours? So one of the South Carolina defensive backs intercepted Stetson Bennett like 3 times. And he was like this just no name, like nobody knew about him until that game. His name is Israel Mukuamu. He actually plays, I think, for the Cowboys now. He turned into a great defensive back for South Carolina. But he intercepted Stetson Bennett 3 times at home between the hedges in Sanford.
Right.
And someone went into Wikipedia and changed the owner of Sanford Stadium to Israel Mukuamu.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, obviously got changed back within a couple of hours.
It's the little things, right?
He took a screenshot, and I thought it was hilarious. So yeah, for a few hours there, Israel Mukuamu owned Sanford Stadium.
He owned Sanford Stadium. I tell you, some people. So I don't think we're going to have anywhere near the same result.
I don't think
Saturday.
so either. It took what, 2 missed field goals from Hot Rod at the end of that game, and 3 interceptions from Stetson Bennett to
pull it off. But I mean, a win is a win. So tip your hat to the winner.
But we were talking about earlier. I think one of the main reasons that this game is so interesting, and it always is that it's the 3rd game of the year most years. I think it's either the 2nd to the 4th game, and usually it's the 3rd game.
Yeah,
and a lot of things can happen. You're talking about 18 to 21-year-old guys, right? There's a lot of stuff that can happen before the team really starts to get rolling as the season progresses. And you see South Carolina and other teams, like you've seen already some upsets this year from teams that probably shouldn't have gotten beat by teams that did beat them.
Right.
Where the teams weren't quite gelling yet. And it's always interesting when South Carolina and Georgia play, because historically, at least in the past 10 years, maybe back to like the Steve Spurrier area, that South Carolina hasn't been a better team than Georgia, but there have been some games where South Carolina put up a good fight and even beat Georgia in that time period. And a large part of that, I think, is just because it's early in the year.
Yeah, and before that, chemistry is developed sometime between quarterback, receivers, the offensive line, defensive line. It's really the first big game. I mean, South Carolina played North Carolina, so I think that gives South Carolina a little bit of edge in terms of experience, because South Carolina played North Carolina prime time, the opening game of the year, and it was College game day, right,
and everything.
South versus North.
Yeah, so Georgia hasn't really had a challenge yet. Georgia hasn't really had pressure yet. And so, I mean, this is the SEC game of the week, 3:30 kickoff. This is a border battle, an SEC East matchup. So
I mean, it should.
I'm not saying that South Carolina's going to win, but I'm saying that
they're going to cover the spread.
I'm saying they're going to cover. I'm saying this. If I had to say, I'm going to say. I don't want to go on record. Never mind.
We'll just keep it at that.
We'll just keep it at that.
Keep it at that.
Cover 27.5.
Cover 27.5. So all my true Georgia fans, we know what has to happen.
27.5. All right,
we got to beat them by more than 4 touchdowns.
Let's kick it over to announcements. We wanted to get this out there in case any of you wanted to come see us. We've got 3 events coming up really in the next month and a half.
Yep.
That'll be a good chance to come out and say hey if you're in the area. So
we have this coming Saturday, September 16th, at Trident Technical College here in North Charleston, South Carolina. We are serving coffee at an event called Parent Fest. So Parent Fest is an event catered to parents to get them connected to resources in the community. It is being hosted by a organization called E3 that we are supporting and serving coffee that day. So it's a free event to everyone who signs up. And if you come out, you'll see myself and Trey there serving coffee probably around 7 a.m. Get there early enough. The event doesn't start until either 8:30, I think, somewhere around there. So we'll be there early serving and selling coffee along with some like pastry items and things of that nature. So we'll be there for a few hours, probably until close to around lunchtime. And then we'll be out. So if you're looking for something local here within, the Charleston area and you want to come out to support us, that's where we'll be. So that's one event
and then
coming up.
Just following right on the heels of that, next weekend, so not this coming weekend, the 16th and 17th, but the following weekend, which is the 23rd.
Yeah.
We'll double check that. 23rd and 24th. We'll be in Arlington, Texas for NARBC Arlington. So this is our first time in Arlington. We've done Tinley Park and St. Louis in ARBCs in the past. First time taking the trek down and across to Arlington. So if you're in the area planning on going to that event, I'm not exactly sure where we're going to be, but we're supposed to be in the lobby. So you should see us pretty
as soon as
easily.
You walk in, hopefully.
Yeah. So come check us out in ARBC Arlington. And then 2 weeks after that,
we'll be back at Tinley Park, Illinois. So this is, the NARBC.
This is the main event,
right?
The prime time, the big show.
So we do this one twice a year, March and it's in October, right?
Yeah.
And it's always a good time. So, we've been there for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So we've made this trip more times than I like to count. But yeah, we'll be there having a good time as always.
We'll be there early this time too, because there's the I should have looked up what it's called. The Gecko Symposium.
Yeah.
That's on
Thursday.
It's on Thursday. Yeah. So we're going to be serving coffee there for the volunteers and the speakers. Thursday morning, and then Friday it'll be
Friday afternoon,
normal
vendors show up. Yeah, and then the regular show is Saturday.
So if you're going to be at the Gecko Symposium, you can come and hang out and check us out. We're going to be hanging out and participating in the Gecko Symposium after we finish serving coffee first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And then, of course, regular schedule for Tinley Park, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So this is our busy time of year. But it's also the time of year that if you want to come see us and hang out and talk coffee and talk reptiles, this is the best time to do it, because this is the most public that we get to be.
Yep. So what time are we going to be signing autographs?
Snake Discovery does it for 4.5 hours. If Emily and Ed can do it for that long, I can at least 2 hours, right?
Easy,
at least.
Easy.
So,
we probably need someone kind of controlling the crowd though, right? Because, people are going to be trying to get us.
I don't want to get people hurt or anything. I am up to at the time of this recording, 89 subscribers on YouTube.
Oh, man, you're crushing it.
If all 89 of them show up at one time, it might get dangerous.
It might get dangerous, man. But yeah, those are the places you can catch us in the upcoming weeks. So
we're going to be busy. So
come out, support, come give us some motivation.
Make sure that I had my coffee,
right?
if I look dragged.
Yeah.
So that's the podcast for this week. So we'll probably do the reveal for who won the bet for the football game. Most of you, if you're college football fans, will already know.
You're following though.
But we'll do the loser will have to do the consuming of the beverage probably the next podcast next week. Kevin.
With 2 walls in it, and I made a pretty wall.
Oh my! We have special guests.
I see.
I hope you don't my video.
Okay, thank you very much, buddy.
Kevin.
Okay,
good job.
Okay. Very sweet, very sweet. Okay.
Yeah, I see.
Thank you,
very
buddy.
nice.
All right, we'll make sure you're on the video. Okay, go back and finish playing. I got 5 more minutes. It's very sweet. Yes.
Can I play at home too?
Yes. Yes,
so you negotiate when parents are busy, so they just gonna say yes. Can I play at home too? Yes. Can I play in the car? Yes. Just leave. We're trying to finish.
Okay. What was I saying?
I don't know, because I was about to wrap it up.
Well, before we do that, did you happen to see at the end of the South Carolina Furman game, Lenore Sellers and Nicholas Harbor connect for the first time in their South Carolina career?
Nope.
For a touchdown. Nicholas Harbor, 6'5", 245 wide receiver with world-class sprint speed. You want 6'5", 245 coming at you.
I thought we were finished talking about football.
I'm excited. Now I'm excited about South Carolina football.
All right, it's time to log off.
27 and a half. 27 and a half. This is Cold Blooded Caffeine Podcast, episode 16.
We are out.
We are out. This is Cold Blooded Caffeine Podcast with your host, Trey.
And coming to the stage, McKendrick.
Cold Blooded Caffeine Podcast is brought to you by coldbloodedcaffeine.com, specialty coffee roaster with a wildlife conservation focus. Also brought to you by the Coffee Run coffee delivery service, serving the low country of South Carolina with all your coffee needs. Check us out at coffeerundelivery.com.
And we sell coffee mugs.
And shirts. And hats. And Chemexes. All right, that's it. We're done.
Peace.